Hello. Welcome to part 6 of the Liberated Heart Self-Love Bootcamp. This is Denitra, your emotional wellness coach. And for this session, we will be tackling self-trust. So for part 6, we will be working on the following. Number 1 is building loving trust for yourself. Number 2, trusting your gut or intuition. And number 3 is aligning trust with your spiritual heart. Let's begin. So today I will begin by giving you I want you to answer these questions. Do you or how much do you trust yourself? When we are babies and children, if you are a mother or if you've been around children or have ever interacted with children, you know that babies and children are more in touch with their instincts. Babies and children interact with the world much differently than adults. For example, babies naturally know how to indicate when they are hungry and tired. As we grow and become adults, we begin to rely more heavily on external influences and resources, and less on our internal instincts and intuition. So how do we begin to build trust for ourselves? Exactly how does that work? The first thing I'll talk about is spending more time learning more about yourself. Self-awareness, which we have covered in a previous session, self-awareness helps to put us in touch with our intuition, which helps guide us in life. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the emotional brain, but listen up. Your emotional brain is your internal GPS system, which gives you direction. Some people also refer to it as their innermost higher self, which is connected to our Holy Spirit. And there is truly an emotional brain centered in our gut, which is why so many people, I believe, have stress-induced GI or gastrointestinal disorders. Now, being a nurse, of course, I could go on forever about it, but for the sake of this session, just know that your gut reactions or gut feelings are your instincts. It's also a part of your intuition. It's also a part of your higher self, which is your God connection, and it's very valid and very real, those innermost gut instincts and reactions. So back to how we build trust for ourselves. The first way we begin to regain trust for ourselves is by spending time learning more about ourselves and becoming self-aware, which goes back to another session. By staying self-aware, we stay in touch with ourselves. With increased awareness and listening to yourself, you still want to, and this is number 2. So number 1 was becoming more self-aware by staying in touch with ourselves. And we have covered and we talk about journaling. That's one way that we focus on for staying in touch with ourselves. So number 2 is with that increased awareness that we develop, we want to still make sure we take the time to understand what we feel, because sometimes our feelings are inaccurate because we have multiple influences that guide our emotions. So not only are we sometimes we have that gut feeling, but then we have these other emotions that come into that. And a lot of times those emotions are the emotions that causes us to doubt ourselves and not to follow our gut. So what you want to do for number 2 pretty much is meditate. Take the time to understand what you feel, because sometimes it's not accurate. And this is where prayer and meditation is most powerful. Prayer connects us to our higher self, prayer and meditation, and it brings great clarity. And this is why, again, I focus so much on journaling and meditation, because it's something that I know from experience that has allowed me to learn self-love again. So I'm going to go over it again. Number 1 was connect with yourself. That's the number 1 way you learn how to stay in touch with yourself. Number 2 was meditation, taking time to understand your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And number 3 is self-honesty. You have to be real with yourself. What I've learned is that you're doing a disservice to yourself and stunting your personal growth when you lie to yourself. Be real about how you feel and don't be afraid to explore these feelings. Exploring your feelings allows you to uncover the mess so that you can begin to learn to trust yourself and love yourself unconditionally. If you notice, ladies, the themes that we are talking about in this boot camp are very repetitious, and the tools that we use to achieve these goals are repetitious as well because they are that important. And they're very simple techniques that you can use and continue to use in your self love journey. So, journaling and meditation will help get you on your way and help you to stay in self love despite circumstances and those external factors. Because if we can gain control over those external factors and emotions, then we will be more in touch with our intuition and our instincts and allow those instincts to freely guide us as opposed to the other emotions which will cause us doubt and fear. So lastly, let's explore our third goal for today, which was aligning trust with the spiritual heart. By spiritual heart, I am referring to the love of God and of Christ and depending on that love and that power to help us learn to love and trust ourselves. According to Psalm 46:5, God is within her. She will not fall. So when you spend time connecting with and getting to know God, you learn to put your trust and faith in Him. In learning self-trust, remember, He is within you. That gives you the power and the confidence to know that you will not fail or fall. And that way you can begin to trust those things that you believe in and to move forward in that power. Prayer should be treated as an exercise that enables His mighty spirit to move us in His way, not our own. If you have dedicated your life to and love God, the more you seek Him, the more you will find yourself in that trust you seek to move forward without fear or worry. When we trust, we don't fear or worry. We become totally surrendering and completely relying on God and His love for us because, again, He is within us and we will not fall because of that. We will now start a short guided meditation. Find a quiet place without interruption and let's begin. Focus on your breathing. And for today's meditation, we will also focus on Psalm 46:5. Remember, God is within you. You will not fall. Allow His peace to calm your mind and spirit. Have your journal ready and a pen to complete your journal exercise. That was a very short guided meditation for part 6 of the Liberated Heart Self-Love Bootcamp. But what I would like for you to do is to pause this audio. And before you start your journal exercise today, I would like for you to sit in silence and just focus again on God's love and those things that you want to achieve for your self-love journey. Those journal questions should have been emailed to you, or you should have received them or have access to them by now. But I will go over those questions with you. The journal questions for part 6 of the Liberated Heart Self-Love Bootcamp is, number 1 is, my goal is to build self-trust by, and then I want you to list your goal or goals for building self-trust and how you're going to do that. So again, my goal is to build self-trust by. Number 2, my commitment to building self-trust will be demonstrated by doing blank and blank. So 2 activities that you are committed to doing to help build self-trust. And number 3 is a reflection. So at the end of this week, I want you to journal about your feelings and thoughts during the week. And I want to know, did you meet your commitments? And I want to know what challenges you had or experienced in developing self-trust. This is Denitra, your emotional wellness coach. And this was part 6 of the Liberated Heart Self-Love Bootcamp. I look forward to working with you in the next session. Thanks.